Yeah, that's a big dog. Hi, hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Philly Pulse, your city sports beat with your host, Joe Stazak, Sean Lochner, and Michael Warren. How you doing, fellas? Good to see you again.
Good to
Hanging
see you,
in.
Joe.
Always a pleasure to be back, talking sports. Kind of in a little weird period. The NBA Finals are about to, be front and center. Same with the NHL Finals. And after that, strictly baseball. We'll start with Phillies. Game postponed today. It's been raining since I can remember. Part of the doubleheader tomorrow with the Braves. Phil's 19 losses, two losses less than the Dodgers. And people who don't really aren't dialed in as much probably think the Dodgers have like three losses this year. They have more losses than the Phillies. Phillies are in first place, a game and a half ahead of the Mets. Of course, they've beaten teams that they should have beaten. Colorado's one of them, and of course, then they beat the A's. Lost one on the tail end of that, but back in town and playing good ball. Now, Bryce Harper got poinked. Point the other night. No retaliation yet. I don't actually know where you guys stand on the whole unwritten rules, and is someone just going to be like lying in wait for Bryce Harper? What does it really do? Harper himself said, "We don't do that here." Remember that whole fight with Castellanos, and he came out, "We don't do that here. We don't do that here." Kid from Tampa Bay. But
Yep.
anyway, you know it's coming, right? Braves, Phillies. Do you think?
Well, I didn't see the play, so you guys can fill me in. I didn't. Was it a purpose pitch or was did it slip? Did it was it?
I mean, he was throwing inside. You could totally, yeah. I mean, he was coming
I
inside, and I think he lost the grip.
I
A
think he
lot of
lost the
people are saying,
grip, and
yeah, I think so too. They're saying it was intentional. I mean, he came out and
how do
said,
they
"Look,
know it's intentional? Who's they when you say they?
I'm saying like the humans, the sports
the
people out there,
social media.
the
Oh,
social
Well, it
media,
was the
like the
first
people,
inning, I
the
believe.
people,
Wasn't it in the
the
people
first inning?
calling,
consensus.
yeah, the
It was the first
consensus,
inning.
yeah,
Unless
yeah.
you're in a
So
playoff series, you're not throwing a purpose pitch in the first inning of a game in May.
look, Strider came out and he said, "Look, I'm a sociopath. I get it. I lost the grip. I feel bad. He knows. He should know it wasn't intentional. I like to think he didn't. It's good to hear
To
that
me, that's
he's
all I need to
feeling
hear.
better.
Strider said that.
Yeah,
Strider's a
exactly. I mean, here's the thing. If you wanted to show retaliation, you should have did it right away. You didn't. You're going to look like an ass if you were thinking about doing it tonight or tomorrow. It's over and done with. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing happened the last time. Topper, I don't think he's that type of manager. Or, like you said, I don't think this team is that way. They don't do that type of stuff here. So,
Well, plus in a one-run game, which it was for most of the game, you'd be giving them a free base and
right.
maybe
exactly.
getting a pitcher ejected, and where everyone gets a warning or whatever.
Right.
I don't see the upside.
Yeah.
I don't see
I
upside.
also, I think the sport has changed so much now where it's
There's
not a
still
big
some old
part
school
of it.
thinking. Now, there's still some old school
Sure.
thinking.
Of
I never
course.
was huge on it.
No, but I mean, I'll tell you what, the Phillies showed their lineup is much, much better than the Braves lineup. I mean, the Braves are good. They're going to be there at the end, but I think in the long run, the Phillies are the better team. And again, like I've said before, we treat this team like the Eagles, where, and I have a case of it where I need to tend to relax and just let the season take its course. Baseball's different now, where you got to get hot at the right time, and
Hmm.
it's just you got to hope for the best. So let's enjoy it. I mean, they have 162 games. They're a hell of a
Who's
baseball
not
team.
enjoying
It's
it? I'm
gonna.
enjoying it. Are you
No,
enjoying
I'm
it?
enjoying it too, but a lot of people out there, all they do is bitch and complain about this team. So
Well,
I get it.
that's what we do
I
in
bitch and
Philly.
complain too. I mean, the other day, my boy Bohm has a home run and a double, and then he hits a line drive that could have been a nice single, but he caught and he gets pissed off. And you
Then
know
you get
me,
pissed off. Then you get pissed at him.
I know because I get nervous because I think it's going to be the downward spiral effect. But I'm just, I'm just as that once brave peyote taking son of a bitch out in Green Bay said, relax. And I think that's what I need to do. I got to relax. So
Well, he's taken more than peyote, so
yes, for sure.
Kyle
Hyaluska,
Schwarber,
is that what it's called?
Yeah, Joe, what were you
Kyle
saying?
Schwarber hasn't been relaxing too much. 18 home runs, same as Ohtani. At least last I checked, I think Ohtani had one last night. But and he's up for a contract. We talked a little bit about this off the air. Well, somewhat off the air.
should we
He's
tell
gonna want big
people
time.
what we did?
He's going to want big time money, folks. He's going to want big time money. And I know, Sean, you posed the question, do you take care of him? I do. I always take care of my, in theory, take care of
Hmm.
my guys early. Treat your superstars like superstars.
Yeah, agreed. I think they will. I think the closer that I mean, hopefully get towards the summer, I think something's going to happen. He's kept it open, which is good. He hasn't closed the door completely shut. Um, I don't know. Maybe he turns around and says, "Look, let me see what my worth is. I want to go into the free agency.
I
Let me
mean,
see
that's the
what
thing.
my
Like, no
worth
one's giving
is."
hometown discounts anymore. Which
No,
not did they ever. So what would behoove him to do it early? I'm just saying
Security
from a
is
Kyle
always a
Schwarber standpoint, wouldn't you kind of, aren't you curious? Let me see what I could get out there. I could always
security
go
is
back to the Phillies.
true, but security is something. And what a lot of people forget, I'm not saying you guys do or would, but leaving a team, you got to leave the city. You got to sell your house. You got to get a
It's a
new
lot
one.
more than just, you're
If you
right.
have kids, you got
sure.
to move schools. And it's not something people think about, but if all things being close to equal, I don't have to move. I don't like moving in general, so that would be like a big sticking
Totally.
point for me.
Yep.
I agree. I agree with that. And he loves his team, and the team's in the hunt.
He's on a good team now. If he can make significantly more elsewhere, then all bets are off the table. If I'm the Phillies, for me, that contract better not go past 36 years old, 37 tops at the very end.
Well,
I
then
don't
let
mind
me ask you,
whatever.
what do you
Pay
think
him
of
what you're
Bryce
going to pay
Harper's
him, but
contract into his 40s? Same with Trey Turner.
not thrilled about it. I mean, I thought it was dumb when Pujols got 10 years when he was 30, 31 years old. I think the Marlins gave Stanton 13.
Hmm.
13? He might get hit by a bus tomorrow. 13.
But I mean, they're gonna. It's gonna happen, whether it's Schwarber or whatever. I mean, these players they're gonna play later than
You think they're going to play into their 40s? You think Harper's playing into his 40s?
At this level,
he's at this level. No, absolutely not. But
right.
it wouldn't shock me if he's still
We'll
trying
get
to
someone who
play in
can
his
play better than
forties.
him because I don't think Harper at 40 is going to be better than, well,
Sure, but
no. He's got, no. I think
well,
it's
we'll
become
see.
ridiculous. What's that?
Oh, I said we'll see.
Harper,
I mean,
okay. Well, let's go to where he's batting in the lineup because there's been, a lot of your people talk about, you don't like him
your
in the
people,
leadoff spot and
Sean's
whatever.
people.
my
I've
people.
always been okay with it because his numbers are pretty good every year. 40 mid 40s home runs, almost always 100 RBIs. But I do get the other side. It could be maybe making more um, ribs with some protection behind him. They moved him down this year. It's kind of the only really thing that they did. It's working. I mean, I don't know if it's even working better than last year, but it's working. He's one of the top hitters in the league at the DH spot. What do you think of him batting down the lineup?
When you say
Who?
down, you mean not lead off, or you mean like
Not
seven
lead
or
off,
eight?
right? Sorry, not
Okay.
Oh,
lead
Schwarber
off.
not leading off.
I'm old school about it. I do. I remember. I always think of the 2003 Marlins when they had Juan Pierre and Luis Castillo at the top. Those two were murder if they got on base.
Murder.
Absolute terrifying. Um, I still do prefer that, and I'd rather have guys on. I love when Schwarber would lead off with a solo shot, but
Yeah.
that's not going to be every game. It's nice, not thrilling. Nice if you guys are History of the World fans. You guys like that movie?
Yeah.
History of the World. He
I've
brought
never
him the
seen it.
treasure. Nice, not thrilling. Nice.
Oh,
That
wait. 15, 10 commandments. Is that the
it's the Mel Brooks movie from years
yes,
ago.
yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
I'd rather he have a man or two on base if he's going to hit those bombs. And I would like the Trey Turners of the world and stop. I've been okay with. Um, I would prefer that if everything's working. Obviously, they went back. They tried it last year and went back to Schwarber, and I couldn't disagree with Topper's assessment. He goes, I know it doesn't make sense, but we tend to win when he leads off. Couldn't argue with that.
You know how I feel about the manager. You guys still okay with him being here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you hate him.
Did I
You
say I
hate
hate
Topper
him?
like Sean hates Bohm's attitude.
Well, he's got a
True.
boo boo on his thumb and he complains about it. So, okay, first place Philly. Let's talk about your team, your town, your Philadelphia Eagles. Hassan Reddick doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, Bryce Huff doesn't show up for OTAs today.
Well, the other one didn't show up for his either. So,
Who are we talking
I
about?
mean, I'll
Reddick.
give Reddick didn't show up for his.
No, I know with Tampa. Okay, so
Hmm.
one former Eagle, one current Eagle. I really only care about the guys on our team. Although I think Listen, these guys are vested veterans. Showing up for a thing in May is not the same as. Remember what was it, Corey? What's his name had to go check out like
Sconces.
lights for his
What?
house and remember
Yes.
that?
Sconces. Yeah,
Yes.
Sconces.
sconces.
Remember the sconces?
Uh-huh.
So I don't,
Oh.
once July rolls around, people are going to forget it, but like, it's not a good look optic wise, making all that money, not playing. And now he doesn't want to show up. Why doesn't he want to show up? Well, same reason probably no one else really wants to show up, except he doesn't play that much. Shouldn't this been a conversation maybe beforehand, or is this just exercising an option because it's optional?
3 years, $51 million for 2.5 sacks. 1.5, I think I missed of those 2.5.
Probably did.
Um, no postseason stat line. Missed 5 games, I think, with the wrist injury. He can't be complaining about. I mean, and not to mention 2 guys at his position are gone. Brandon Graham retired and went to Arizona. Um, so there should be a hole. There should be oxygen to suck there,
Mhm.
and you're already out underpaid. You've underplayed your contract.
Hugely. They talk about the people, they talk about Howie and how great Howie is with all he's
They,
laughing.
the people, my people.
His people talk about Howie, how great Howie is all the time. That's like one of the rare misses last year, and it was Bryce Huff, and he doesn't show up. Guys
Eh.
can do their own thing. I get it. No one's going to give a shit at all. No one gives a shit now because you're like, well,
Or at least have a ready-made excuse, Joe. Say something, oh, I had a family engagement. Lie to me. I don't care. But when you show up with no excuse and the team doesn't have anything to say, then it just makes people like, are you pulling a Sixers?
well, it's like, didn't we talk about Kirk Cousins yesterday? Like they don't really want him showing up because they don't
No,
want
they
him.
don't.
Yeah,
It's the whole Steve
they're
McNair
okay with
thing.
that.
But
Real
that's
Where
quick,
did we?
not.
don't want to do politics at all. But Jalen, he was asked why didn't he go to the White House? He said, I wasn't available. What did you think?
It's probably the politically correct answer. I mean,
Mhm.
you
Okay,
do
but
walk a line.
would you
Now,
have
if you're
rather seen him go?
no,
Try to be completely objective. I do not want to make this about politics or your side, his side.
well, what part are you
As a
objecting
team
to?
event, it's kind of an OTA, organized team event
Okay.
activity. It's a team event. You have the office of the president wants to celebrate a great thing that happened in Philadelphia, and he doesn't show. I'm not trying to create anything here. Because
No, no, I understand, but I also understand it is a polarizing presidency, whether you were on either side. So
right.
I understand if it's not your thing and you don't want to go. So are you objecting? Are you asking whether object whether anyone attended or didn't attend,
I'm
or the
asking.
excuse
I
of
would have
saying
liked
I
to have
had something
seen
else?
my captain and my quarterback attend that celebration.
Okay,
And I'm proud of what they did. You know what I mean? Like, and you have an opportunity, you want to say something, knock yourself out. You see how it works. You're going to get a different view of the guy in that light, and he's completely
sure.
different. But again, I get it. I get the polarizing thing, but for taking that aside, I would have liked to see them go as a group.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The only guy that really got crap for going was Saquon because he played around to golf the day
Sure.
before, rode
He
on
was
the
on. He
Air
was
Force
on Air
One.
Force One. He was following him around. He was following the
And
president.
even then, he probably, and this was his explanation, the only what I could think was, yeah, that's probably a bad look, but he also could have looked at it like, I don't care, it's the presidency. When else am I going to get to do this again?
All right.
That's how I
I,
would have looked at it.
Yeah,
Unless
I think it was more or less he respects the office.
I think he
You
respects
know,
the
I
offer,
think
but it's an opportunity to play a round of golf with
with the
the
president of the
president and
United
screw it, and
States,
then
regardless of
goes on
who it
Air
is.
Force
yeah,
One. I'm all over that.
sure.
I mean, I thought it was a little more egregious when Tim Thomas didn't go to the White
I was
House
just thinking about Tim
because of
Thomas.
Obama, because I was like, really, what did he do that was so
What did he
awful that you hate
exactly,
him?
right? Like
So
where does Tim Thomas get off? What?
So, since we're on the topic of Trump, should I email Trump in all caps asking him to be on the show?
If you did it any other way, I would have a problem with it.
Run it by the people first and see what they say.
The people. There we go.
If you do it, will you at least take a screenshot and so we can hold it up and we at least prove that we
Oh,
tried?
absolutely. Yeah, for
We
sure.
leave
You
no
know
stone
me.
unturned here.
Micah, you know me. Just give me a list of people you want me to reach out to. That's whatever.
Of all the people that we do reach out to, he's one that I would put in a category that maybe like he might do something like that. I mean, I'll
Just
do.
You know
randomly come
what?
on.
We would
Gives
have a
me
better
forum to
chance.
open my mouth.
We'd have a better chance of getting him than Tom Brady or something like that.
Sure,
Totally, that's what I
Because
mean.
absolutely.
he might do it.
That's what I mean. He's crazy enough to
All
do
right,
something like that.
screw it.
He's a
All right,
perfect candidate.
I'll send out an email.
And we'll bait him with like some Jimmy the Greek stuff. What do you think about the Eagles Super Bowl champion having a black quarterback?
Oh,
Oh
geez, I love it.
God.
I love it. Oh, by the way, so it's 99 days to opening night against the boys. What do you think of the
hmm
schedule and scheduling the boys Lincoln Financial Field night one? I love it because I think they're going to smoke Dallas, but I also like a little anticipation, like leading up to the game. That the big everyone thinks. I'm not as much of a hater as others because I think Dallas is an incredibly flawed villain. So I
These
like
days
them
they
as a
are.
villain because I laugh
Yeah.
at them. But I might put them down a few games. But they're opening night. You guys cool with that?
Yeah, I mean, every Super Bowl winner. Oh, are you talking about the Cowboys opening
Yeah,
night?
Cowboys opening night with the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, the last time it happened, do you remember it was the Tommy Hutton fumble field goal when
No, I
they
thought Roy
That
Williams
was
ran
97.
ran a pick back
oh,
for a touchdown. Tommy
wasn't
Hutton
that
was way that was in Dallas way
That was
before.
a Monday
97.
night? Oh, I thought that was the last time that they were
Do
on.
you remember
No,
who caught the pass to get down there for the field goal?
No.
Freddie
yeah,
Solomon.
Oh my
nice call.
gosh.
Yeah, the
Freddie
second Freddie Solomon, much like the
Solomon.
Kurt Warner of the Rams was the second Kurt
He
Warner.
was the second. That's
To the
right.
yeah, that was the first thing I thought when I heard his name for the first time. I was like, another Kurt Warner?
Right,
Oh
right.
my
I know
That's
the
good
gosh.
Seahawks
stuff.
running back. You know what? I'll ask you guys this because I felt this way for years. I think sometimes the national networks make more of a local rivalry than the nation
I
actually
agree
cares
with you.
about.
Yeah,
So for a long time, it was like, oh, Yankees, Red Sox. Well, if you're outside of Boston and New York, you don't really care.
you
I
don't
felt that
care.
way for years when it was Ravens, Steelers. Oh, great, 13-10 with no
13, I can't wait to
offense.
see another. Yeah,
Yeah, if
exactly.
you're not Ravens or Steelers, you don't
I
really
agree.
enjoy it the same way they do. So my question is, do first of all, Dallas fans don't care about the Eagles rivalry the
They
same way
like
that
the
Eagles
Skins
do.
are their rival. It's not
Yes,
Dallas.
100%.
Mhm.
Yes. So do you think that they're making, oh, Eagles Cowboys? Well, it's a big deal to us around here. Does anybody else really care in
Do they
Seattle?
really care? I mean, hype mongers do because it's like, well, you have the world champs and maybe one of the best teams assembled, at least on paper, and they destroyed the Chiefs. And then you got America's team, still by name, I get it, with a
Sure.
lot of bullshit going around, and Jerry and Micah's always yapping, and there's a little bit of hype
Was that a
mongering
shot
there.
at
Other
me
than
or was
that,
that
not really, because Dallas has kind of become irrelevant.
Yeah, but hold on. Don't you think Micah and CeeDee Lamb are starting to hype up the Eagles rivalry between the Cowboys as well? Because
It's
I
not much of
feel
a
like
rivalry
each
if one team wins every time.
no, well, I understand that, but I think it's the hatred between one another. Or, I hate to use that word, but like, you know,
I mean, he's trying. Mike is trying, but I mean, when you look at the
Micah's
scores,
trying.
like, even Dak. Remember, Dak made some noise at the end of last year before the playoffs started. He said, "Well, we were right there with him. You got outscored like 87-6 in two
if it
games."
wasn't for those five big touchdown plays,
Right, yeah,
it was going to
right.
come
Sure.
down to
Those
the
five big
wire.
Right,
touchdowns.
right, right. It's like, well, if I didn't throw interceptions, I might have won the game.
I think
Stupid.
CeeDee Lamb might have more of a dislike for the Eagles, where Parsons almost has a jealousy. Like, I went to Penn State, I
Parsons kind
deserve
of
to
like
be on
wants
that
to be an
team.
Eagle.
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
he
if
definitely
we
wants
didn't
to be an
blow
Eagle.
if we didn't blow the Justin Jefferson Jalen Rager pick, we wouldn't have taken Devontae. We may have taken Micah and then had Justin Jefferson and Micah, which
right.
is that's
You
pie in
know,
the
he'd
sky
love to be an
talk.
Eagle. I think so.
I
Oh,
think he
absolutely,
has
without a
something. I
doubt.
think he would like to be an Eagle. I don't know that, but the fact that he's a great player and a mouth makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
It does, and I do agree with you that I think that outside the National, it's not as nearly as, especially because, like you said it yourself, like people I think nationally think that's the rival. Washington's their rival. And
Yes.
that's like their big thing was with Washington, and it's not
Mhm.
as hyped up because we live in Philly. I don't even know where the Eagles hate came from, except I used to go to games when I was little, and Roger Staubach would always come back from like 13 down with a minute left, and I'd be like, Dad, what happened? Oh, they played the Cowboys. It was always like that. But they become a villain in kind of in name. I mean, they're kind of like the Keystone Cop villain kind of thing, and with
Hmm.
Jerry and Dak, and it's kind of funny watching them try to like be like puff their chest and be like, yeah, we're America. Some reporter called you America's team. I like the moniker, but you guys really haven't lived up to it in about 30 years.
No,
So I
they
think they're kind
haven't.
of amusing when they open their mouths. I did like what Jerry said about the tush push. He was honest. He's like, I'm kind of torn between is it football or do I just not want the Eagles to do it?
I appreciate the candor.
What
Yeah.
did what did you, oh, well, quick, because we didn't touch on that in the fake show yesterday. What did you think of the tush push getting banned? Not getting banned, I'm sorry.
I was actually kind of shocked. I thought for sure that it was going to get banned. I thought it was a foregone conclusion.
I thought it was going to be
Uh,
close, but I didn't
yeah, but
know.
then
I
you
didn't
started
know
to
that
hear
they'd have.
chatter.
What's that?
You started to hear chatter that there was a very good chance
Oh, there
that
was a
it
groundswell. So
was going to stay, and
yeah,
then our owner decided to give an explanation about a boy's wet dream, and they all
Yeah.
decided to vote for it. So, I mean, go NFL owners.
And it was a lot of AFC teams. I was like, yeah, you don't have to deal with it on a regular basis. The Lions were voted in favor of it. I guess they want the heat, so all right,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine because you're going to see this at some point.
Yeah.
Um, but
you think
yeah,
it's
and
on?
the
Do
other
you think it's?
AFC team, the one AFC team was the Jaguars. They're the ones that stopped it. They stuffed
They
them
stopped it
twice last year.
twice.
Yeah.
Twice. You think it's
Yep.
a little, the way they do it's a little unfair that the Eagles don't have a representative on the competition committee. Two NFC East teams do. I think the Giants and the Skins, maybe Dallas does, but Eagles don't have a representative necessarily. And a lot of
Why
guys
is
have been
that?
there.
Yeah,
Is
why
that
is that? And why wouldn't every team have a rep?
I would
yeah?
think that they would. There's only like 12. There's one, your chick from Cincinnati's one. The guy from,
Katie Blackburn is my chick now.
yeah, she's your chick.
I'd, I'd, I'd date her. Sure, that sounds like a decent gig.
You should see her daughter. Um, I'm not sure if that's her daughter actually.
Want to kick her out of bed for eating crackers?
You got Tomlin. Tomlin's been there. I think Tomlin's a fair guy. Jeff Fisher used to be on. He's not there anymore. But
Eh,
like, yeah, there's no Eagle representative, and I think that I mean, you'd always want to have a voice in there instead of bringing them in. Bringing the heavies in like Kelsey, who doesn't have enough to do that he's got to stop over in Minnesota for a half hour and try to convince some guys who haven't played football in 30 years that they should run a quarterback sneak. But it worked. I'll take it, at least for another year. It'll stick around for
mhm.
another year. I think the NFL kind of trying to hide behind Green Bay, and they did the same thing with Detroit. Kind of a little lame. You
And
don't
do you
like
think
it.
the stats are a little misleading on that? Because I think it was last year. First of all, last year, not a single injury recorded on a tush push play anywhere in the NFL.
Except for the
The
Giants who
Giants'
tried it.
two injuries were 2023 game,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny that it happened to that. It's just kind of funny.
So
Hilarious.
I'm going to propose this to you. So I'm going to propose this to you that I heard today, or yesterday, I think it was from my people.
The people said
Um,
this?
yes, my people.
Those
It was
people,
during
and you
the
know who I'm
afternoon.
talking about.
It was the afternoon show on 97.5 The Fanatic. They mentioned that they wouldn't be surprised if they start to see players start to fake injuries to elevate those numbers. I I was like, what?
It's
Defenders,
tough to
You
get.
trying to cook
defenders
me?
elevating the tush push.
No, saying yeah, like you're going to start to see more players act like they're injured during the tush push to help eliminate it right away. And I was like, what?
Do the players
It's
hate it that much?
possible. I mean, don't forget
Really?
when the opening. Well, remember the opening night of Chip Kelly against Washington, and all of a sudden he was like sprinting down the field with that
Yes,
offense,
yes. I
and
was at that
Redskins were
game.
laying down,
They tired
faking
out.
injuries,
They almost
I
lost
blowing.
that
was
game.
at that game. That game was crazy. That was fun.
Yeah, halftime they were rolling, and then they skins kind of caught up. Yeah, they were
Mm-hmm.
sucking it up and maybe faking some. Yeah,
Yeah, well, that game you saw exactly what happened in the Chip Kelly era. I mean, if you think about it, that game, you look at it, they almost lost that game because they just got
they
tired.
did.
The defense, yeah, I mean, and it just, yeah, it just showed you that you need to have a balanced offense and defense. You
What do you
can't
think of
just
Chip?
think,
His self, let's call it his self-awareness. Didn't hated being a coach at UCLA, so I'm not sure why he actually went for that job, but much better as just a coordinator wanting to do that. Became the OC. with Ryan Day, his former coach, who was a actual Eagles quarterback
Mhm.
coach in
He's on the
15.
Raiders now, right?
Yeah, he's the offensive coordinator of the Raiders, and they just took.
And now he's an offensive coordinator. What do you
Mhm.
think about that?
I think it's perfect for him.
Yeah, why not? Because
Raiders,
essentially what
Las
happened here,
Vegas.
and Eagles fans pretty much know this, Chip Kelly, the GM, royally screwed Chip
Right.
Kelly, the coach.
Yeah.
He was making decisions that were so poor. I mean, even the DeMarco Murray thing, which I didn't want him, and then they got him, and I'm thinking, all right, cool, take him, whatever. And they ran him on the edges on stretch plays, which it was
Mhm.
real clear, real early. He can't run that. He has to go up straight between the tackles.
Do you think maybe owner stepped in and said, "Whoa, you just traded away LaShawn McCoy. You got to get something," because it just never made sense.
Wait,
He
what is
was
your
never an
what
up
is
and
your
down
question?
running back.
What's your
DeMarco
question?
Murray, because they traded LaShawn McCoy away, and then they went out and got DeMarco Murray.
For a
What
linebacker.
is your question?
Do you think maybe ownership stepped in, like, "Whoa, Chip, what are you doing here? Like, you got to,"
And did what? He got
and
DeMarco
said,
Murray.
like, "Hey, DeMarco's still out there. Go sign him,"
Uh,
because it never made sense, Joe.
well,
Like, it never
they had to get
did.
a running back. They didn't like Shady because he ran outside. They wanted a
But that's
quarterback to
where they
plant his
ran
foot and go
DeMarco.
straight because it takes more
Right, but
time to line
DeMarco,
up.
but then they ran DeMarco on the outside. Like, it
Oh, I didn't
never
say it
made
was smart. It
sense.
To
was
the point
terribly
where he was
stupid.
sliding inbounds.
Yes, and then to the point, he went up to the owner on the plane and said, "I can't play for this guy." So I mean,
It was a
it
bad.
just never made.
It
Yeah.
was, it was
Hey,
bad.
look, Jeffrey learned from it. I mean, he learned
It,
from it. You'll never
it,
see a
it,
coach take over unless his son takes
Well, he was
over. You'll
embarrassing the
never.
team that lost to Washington, and I'm glad he didn't wait till the end of the season.
No.
They had Pat Shermer, I think, coached the last game. Of course, he
yeah.
won, beat the
Mhm.
And
Giants.
who had a touchdown up the gut of 50 plus yards on that, like one of the first series? DeMarco Murray, because he ran him up the middle.
Up
It
the
was like,
middle.
this is what you're supposed to do with him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember that game against Dallas, one of the worst games. It's actually on my demo tape. He had 2 carries. He had 13 carries for less than 2 yards in that game.
But
Is that good?
that was the game
1.6
here.
yards per carry. But he did come off a year. I think he had 499 touches, but still, he was doing nothing here at the Eagles.
Well, do you remember that game when Sam Bradford brought him back against the Cowboys? What was it, a Monday night game? And DeMarco just ran the football.
Did they win?
Yeah, they ended up winning in overtime on a
I just
touchdown.
watched a replay. Sometimes these videos come up from, those people. We know who we're talking
Those
about.
people,
It was the
the
it
people.
was the Sunday night highlights the night they had beaten the Patriots that year. And I think the previous 2 weeks, I think the Eagles had given up like 90 points combined. It was just a behind whooping every
Mhm.
week. And they ended up beating the Patriots on, was it 3 special teams touchdowns or something like that?
What's his name?
Or
The safety.
Malcolm Jenkins had a pick
Malcolm Jenkins
six,
had one,
Mhm.
and then there was
a block kick that Najee Good ran
a
in,
block kick that Najee Good
and a
Yes.
ran
Darren
in, and
Sproles return.
Sproles had
Mhm.
something. Yeah, they Patriot had won 10 games in a row, and then they lost one, and then played the Eagles, and yeah, it's what
And I,
happens. It's the NFL. It's great. So, by the way, I watched the Super Bowl the other night because that's what I do here.
yeah, I
Nothing.
do too.
I watched the whole game in like 30 minutes. They just go play, play, play to play, next play, next play, next play.
Oh, some of the YouTube stuff, the official like highlight packages are 20 minutes long for some of these games.
It's
I'm like,
great.
this is perfect.
Perfect.
I cannot wait for the Eagles here
Yearbook.
and yeah, I can't wait
When is
because
that coming out?
it's got to be coming out
I thought it would be
soon.
out by now. Jesus, what are they doing?
No, I
Oh,
think
the
it
COVID
typically
still?
comes out like right before.
The best yearbooks though are the ones of the really shitty teams where they have to make it sound awesome, like even though they won 3 games,
Right.
and
Oh,
they're
I
like
remember the one.
celebrating a second week 2 win over the Jaguars. And then they skip over weeks 3 to 11.
Of course. And they say, good things looking up for this team, and they'll show them
But
running
they
in the
do have a
tunnel.
high draft pick, and with it, hope springs eternal. That's every NFL yearbook.
Friggin' love it. Friggin' love it.
uh,
Let's talk a little national because yesterday we talked about how bad the playoffs have been. I think they were just as bad last night. Um, Knicks, all right, they played okay offensively, but never really in that game. I know Halliburton had the triple double, and then Yeah, Edmonton is just smoking Dallas because they're that much better than them.
Hmm.
McDavid's coming on. The goaltender's playing. It's going to be, I think, Sean, we talked about it yesterday. It's going to be Edmonton and Florida in the finals. It's going to
Absolutely.
be Oak City, I think, and Pacers in the finals. Teams you don't see win very often. I mean, Panthers, they won a couple last year, but what are we looking at in the finals for both NBA and NHL guys?
Well, I
I
know it's
think.
not
Go ahead.
LeBron against Curry.
You know what I think I'm really sick and tired right now of the playoffs this year with the NBA is hearing who's the new face of the NBA. Like, just can we stop? Like,
Who is the new face? You mean Anthony?
I
He's
don't care
terrible.
who the new face is.
Yeah, I agree with Sean.
Like I don't care. Like
Caitlin
I
Clark,
want I want multiple faces of the NBA. Like
try to get him going.
I'm done with it. I want multiple faces. Like I'm sick and tired of hearing who's the new face. I
Well,
just
give me a
want
face.
one.
Give me a face they're trying to put it. They're trying to push at us.
Well, who was it? Perkins the other day was talking about how Anthony Edwards needs to change. If he wants to be the face of the NBA, he needs to settle down
What
outside
does
of
that
the
even
NBA.
mean?
Exactly. Where
What
it's
do you
just like,
mean? Right.
what are you talking
The
about?
face of the NBA.
So, I mean, it's just bullshit. It's just people trying to, get clickbait. And here I am doing podcast after podcast and only getting 52 views a week.
Hey, Sean, you're the face of the podcast.
I mean, you're the face of our
I don't want to be
podcast,
the
bro.
face of the
Come
podcast.
on.
We've been pushing you. We've been pushing you for months.
I mean, I don't know that a league has to have a face. I
No,
mean, the
exactly.
NHL doesn't have one, but that's because people
No,
tend to not watch hockey.
Right.
right.
Like I'm
I
looking at
mean,
they're hyping some of these superstars during the game, and I'm like, I'm a sports fan. I don't know who these people.
I've
I
never
mean, I guess
heard of.
they're
I
good.
mean, some of these guys are kids of the guys I used to watch play. I
Oh,
mean,
anytime I see Kachuk, I'm like, please tell me that's not a Keith's
did you see
grandkid.
Keith? Did you see the dad? Do you think that guy ever looked like a power forward? Yeah, Keith Kachuk. When
Yeah.
they show his dad in the
I,
stands, I'm like, oh my
I'd love
God.
to have one of those on the Flyers. I'd take a Kachuk any day of the week.
I love him for Florida. I mean, he's a leader. He does. He comes up big in big games. That's what he does. They got Brad Marchand. They're well coached, and they do a little Celtics once in a while. They didn't give a shit about sweeping the
Yeah.
other night. Oh yeah, we'll get him next team.
I
Just
think
take a
it's
night
great for the
off.
NBA that it's going to be probably most likely what the Pacers and the Thunder. I think
Yeah, which will
that's
be
awesome.
somewhat interesting because at
Hmm.
least there's some interest there. I guess it's a little different. I know the Knicks, the Nova Knicks, and New York and whatever. And you got Oklahoma City. By the way, okay, I got something for you guys. What
Is
did you
this about the
think?
3-button suit?
You want to talk three button suit? Because Halliburton came in with shorts. Oh, we talked about that.
Was
Um,
that on the group text or was that just you and
Yeah.
I, Joe?
No,
Oh, okay.
I
okay,
got I was
so
privy.
the other night
I
before
was
the game,
privy.
Adam Silver, he's out there, and after warm ups, see, there's a little stand, and there's a trophy on it, and he does a few little words, and what's his name? Gilgis, the MVP, comes over,
Mhm.
steps up. He's in the back, like if you didn't know who he was, you're not sure which one it would be. Comes out, steps over, walks around, picks it up, gives it maybe like three votes, puts it down, doesn't even really smile, gives a commish a hug, goes right back to the huddle, and all right, let's go, let's play. A little different than our guy a few years ago having like a 3 hour like party with his team before he went out and like puked up a game to the Celtics. A little different how they carried themselves. This isn't, I don't want to rip Joel Embiid, but I'm going to rip him because he was
Mhm.
all into that individual award back then. Shows me what kind of where his interests are, I think. But Gil just kind of like, yeah, it's cool. I'm the MVP. Well, he's a young guy, probably getting
Hmm.
more. And that was it. Let's play the game. What did you think of how he handled it compared to our guy?
I
I
mean,
mean, Sean,
Did
you can
anyone
go
see it?
ahead.
I kind of explained it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I go ahead, Micah.
No, you go ahead. You watch more
No, please,
basketball
you
than I do.
first. No, please, you first, because you
I'm
were ready
fine
to
with
go.
not making a big deal about it.
Mhm.
If Embiid did, that's fine. I don't think it necessarily means he doesn't care about winning. I think Embiid does. I don't know that everyone agrees with his attitude all the time or the constant time he spends on the floor during games. But I think Embiid wants to win. I
Mhm.
wouldn't make
Yeah,
more of it.
I think he
What is he
definitely wants
doing
to
next
lose.
year?
What's his injury schedule? Are
Yeah,
they
like
releasing that? When do they release
where
his
are we
injury
with
schedule?
Joel Embiid next year? Like what's going on with the knee or
What do you want to say? Over, what would you put it? Over under 40 games next year, or would you go higher?
I think that's a pretty good line.
More than
that,
40
I don't know
that's
games?
what I
not
would.
good, fellas.
No, I know that's not
No.
good.
Are they going to do the back-to-back thing again this year?
I
If you did
I
it this year, why wouldn't you do it next year when he's a year
sure.
older?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Joel is always going to look. Could he have handled himself better? Absolutely. Could he have trained himself better? Yes, just like Iverson could have trained himself better. However, the problem is he's a part of the process. He is the face of the process. And the process, it,
Is
it didn't
over.
work, and it's over. But it's never going to go away because it's Philadelphia, and we like to stick on things, and we like to bring things up over and over and over again. So until Joel retires, gets traded, whatever the case may be, honestly, I don't even think it'll never go away because we're always going to be stuck with it. Even you look at the Thunder, they did it better than us, and now they're in the they're going to be in the championship. Micah, didn't you write something or make a comment the other day on Facebook? Was it that I saw regarding like Sam Hinkie, keeping Sam Hinkie? No, it wasn't you.
That wasn't me.
It might have been someone.
I didn't think Sam Hinkie had to go. I don't
I didn't think he
necessarily
had to go
hate
either with what
Daryl
they
Morey.
did. Just because to appease Adam Silver, they were kind of at the end. They had opportunities, guys. They took the wrong guys.
No, of course they did.
Yes.
I also think they took the wrong guys on purpose too.
What do you
Why
mean
would they take
on
the wrong guys?
purpose?
Well,
Let's
turn
take
him
this guy
around
because he
just
sucks.
to turn him around. No, to turn him around. I mean, you had Embiid. Why'd you take Okafor?
Why'd you take who?
Okafor. You
Well,
had
best
Embiid.
player
Embiid was
available.
out for the first 2 years.
Exactly. So that's exactly my point. Where okay, you don't know. You might have to trade Embiid, or you might trade Okafor. So either way, they were getting parts to possibly trade them. I mean, who was it the rookie of the year? And then they ended up trading
Michael
him.
Carter Williams.
Yeah.
Carter Williams. But that's
And
He
it
was,
okay.
turned
he
out-
was the beginning of the process.
Yeah, they got a lot for him.
That's okay. That's an asset. You're allowed to do that.
No, exactly. And I think that's the way that he treated it, where everybody was an asset.
Well, that's
But
fine.
they weren't
To
good
Joe's-
assets, though. Okafor
No,
wasn't a good
exactly.
asset.
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's kind of to Joe's point. The process itself worked, but you blew the picks.
You blew the
You
picks.
have to
Ben
hit
Simmons
those
didn't
picks.
work. Markel Fultz didn't work.
Yeah.
Okafor went from averaging like 18 points a game his rookie year. I don't know what happened. That guy went downhill. He ended up with the Nets. He
But-
couldn't defend worth a damn.
This is where I will fight you, though. Ben Simmons didn't work. Ben Simmons, I think, was, yes, the overall, you had to take him number one. It just made sense. And for a while, they played well together.
Mhm.
Markel Fultz did not make sense. As soon as he showed up to that training facility, there should have been hold up. You know what? We should just screw the Celtics and
Wait,
take
why?
Tatum.
Why?
He didn't make a shot.
Well, they
didn't
didn't know,
make
they
any
didn't
of
know
it.
he couldn't shoot anymore.
No, but come on, there was
He
some
wasn't a
talk
bad
going
shooter. He
into
averaged
it.
26 points a game.
I understand that, but there was talk going into it even before that there was a chance that something was up with his shoulder. And then when he got to the facility, he was too damn worried about his Chick-fil-A rather than making the shots. I don't know. I think that was the wrong pick.
Well, I think you're right, but
it was a colossally wrong pick.
But how does the guy that's going to be the number one pick in the NBA draft out of college? How does his team not? The team didn't make the tourney the year before.
Right, and we're going to be in the same
if you're
situation
that good,
now.
you should at least be in the tournament.
They won 9 games.
You're going to see Ace Bailey is going to be a Sixer. You know?
The fact that 2 guys from Rutgers are projected in the top 3, and I don't even know anything about them. I didn't even know what Rutgers did this year. But shouldn't you dominate if you have 2 potential top 3 picks in the
Yeah, I like Ace Bailey. I think he's going to be a solid player. I think it's going to, give him some time. He's only 18. He's going to be, 19 when he starts?
I don't want another Evan Turner situation where there's one guy in the draft, which was John Wall, and it's like, oh, we get the 2nd pick this year when it's him or DeMarcus Cousins.
Right. Well, I mean, it's either him or Harper, right? Right?
Who?
For the Sixers. They're going to take either one of those Rutgers players, right?
Is that the other one's name? I don't even know.
I think so.
I don't even know who these people. I know who Cooper Flagg is. Outside of Cooper Flagg, you lost me.
Is Greg Schiano still coach Rutgers?
Probably.
I think he went back. Yeah, he went back, right? Didn't he?
Who knows? All right, guys, good stuff, guys. We got to run. Trying to keep these stream. Anything else I forgot that we got?
I was gonna give Micah some would you rather questions.
Go ahead, give it to him.
Or some. Do you want it?
Yeah, we're gonna cut this up. That's fine. Go for it.
Do you want a would you rather political or would you rather just 5 deep questions?
We'll avoid politics for now.
All right,
we'll be here all day.
All right, number 1, know when you'll die or know when loved ones will die?
Mm. Where did you come up with this crap?
This is I co-piloted just for you.
Oh my God. I'd probably want to know when I would die. I mean,
I'd be the same way.
give my daughter a heads up.
Give-
You're
hey,
buying me a lot of stuff lately, Daddy.
hey, yeah.
Well,
Hey, enjoy your peanut butter jelly sandwich, kid. Have a good day at school. By the way, Dad's dying Friday. We'll talk later.
I'm out.
All
Peace out.
right, lose all memory or never make new ones.
well, there's some memories I would like to forget. I could say that. Um, I wouldn't want to lose my whole memory. No,
Yeah,
that's
same.
one of my minor skills is remembering stuff, even if it's stupid, like number one overall NFL draft
There's
picks.
some throws I'd like to have back.
All right, discover life is a simulation or you're the only real person.
Say it one more time, bro.
Uh, discover life is a simulation or you're the only real person.
Well, and Joe, jump in whenever you want here. I would, if I'm the only real person, it doesn't really matter because my reality is my reality.
Sure.
And I don't really care if everyone's fake. Like if there's a bunch of hot chicks that are into me and you're like, well, they're not real. As far as I'm concerned,
What
they
do I
are.
care?
What do I care if they're not really real? Who do I have to prove to other people that aren't real? Because they're not real either. What do I got to prove?
See, I like that. Well, there's the
Yeah.
people you got to prove to the people.
All right,
I like that.
I'm going to live forever and be forgotten or live briefly and be remembered.
Living forever doesn't sound like an
First
awesome
one
It
to me.
doesn't
idea.
at all.
At the
All
rate
right.
that the body, I'm
Yeah,
at 47 right now, and at the rate the body deteriorates and everything,
living
being
forever does not
140
appeal to
doesn't
me, so
sound
I'm good with the
attractive
first
to me.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Remembering some shit I did, I'm out.
Would you like to see future tragedies or hear darkest thoughts?
See
See
future
future
tragedies?
tragedies or hear
Yeah,
darkest thoughts?
yeah.
For what? To what end?
Just
Hear other
Um,
people's dark thoughts?
yeah.
Don't
Or
care.
you
I'd rather see the tragedies because I like history. Not that I was happy it happened, but I was in New York City for 9/11, and uh, I, I think it was an interesting experience to be part
sure.
of that.
were you a
Yeah.
suspect?
They couldn't prove anything. I mean, charges were dropped.
Person of interest? No.
I talked to a few people. I had to sit in some lonely rooms and answer some questions, but nah, they couldn't prove anything.
Jesus.
I'm getting the rap sign from all my oldest.
All right.
Um, we got
Yeah.
to take off. Good stuff, fellas. Twice
Yeah.
is always better the second time.
Yeah. Hey, look.
Pre-
No desktop. Hey, thank God there was no
appreciate all watching out there. Philly Pulse, Joe Stazak, Sean Lochter. He's Michael Warren, your city sports week. We'll be back next week. Hopefully with some good guests. And fellas, keep ripping it up. Keep crushing it.
Word.
Word.
Peace.
Peace out. All right, guys. Talk to
Later.
you later next
All
week.
right. See you later.
Be good.